The iReader C6 is pretty much the first e-ink device ever made to have color that has been released that isn't in a concept stage. Now, there are a couple devices that were just one-off devices like the Taco JetBook Color 1 and 2, the Pocketbook Color Luxe. We don't count those because this is an actual device that is being sold by a reputable brand over in China, I might add, but this is the technology that the one we've seen in Japan, the print color e-paper technology that Onyx is going to use, that Pocketbook is going to use, that maybe a couple other manufacturers are going to use. This is the benchmark standard of color, which is why so far it's the first color e-ink device to be launched. Let's check it out. Before we proceed any further, we must let you all know that this device is not in English. There is no way to change it into English. We have talked to the distributor, and right now they have focused on their domestic Chinese market because of their massive market appeal and their market share, which they are doing very well. But in terms of their international availability, you can sideload in content, which we will show you, but there is no English UI on this device. First, we're going to do what we usually do and check out a book. This is a side-loaded book. This is Charles Dickens. If we tap in the center, you can go and use the quick nav to anywhere you want. Now, this device is looking quite nice, and you'll see reading books is all the same because there is no color inherently on regular ebooks. You can do long presses, and we have translated all this from a couple people here, and some things say like encyclopedia, some say notes, highlights, etc. All the usual dictionary stuff you can do. So reading, needless to say, is quite nice. There's nothing really need to be said too much about the reading experience. It has a lot of functionality. You can change the fonts. You can go small, medium, big, super big, change the line spacing, the different types of fonts, etc. They do have a lot of different types of fonts, and you can choose some other ones that are made for international and English markets like that. And because this thing actually has speakers on it, you can do audio readback.
Though they have been obscene demons, marketing the corpse itself. That's the same woman.
Honestly, for a non-Chinese side-loaded EPUB that we put in here, and it is able to actually read it back in English, that's not too bad. This is the full color PDF that we usually use that only show black and white on most devices. It's because this is the first color e-reader, so we're not able to show it up until right now. But yes, it is indeed color. And you can see that it is quite slow, but it's not that bad. But we do have a solution for this. You'll see there's a sidebar here, and a lot of this we all can't read, but we have translated it. So you can actually click on this and choose different levels of speed. So you can see the device has now been pixelated, and they lowered the PPI, but this allows you to get a much smoother zoom. Sometimes it says loading, but you can do a much smoother zoom, and everything just kind of speeds up. You can go one step further and choose this one, which is pretty much the quickest one available. You can see everything's super fast. You still get the idea. That's red, that's blue, etc. Although this thing only shows 4,000 colors, and in this speed mode you've heavily reduced it that much more, the experience is actually quite nice. We have never seen e-ink color perform as well as this outside of concept stages. We've been all over the world to trade shows and seen concepts and received things that press packages and, you know, color e-reader related things, but this one is in our hands in our studio, and it is performing a lot better than we had expected. We thought it would be a lot more washed out. Now, compared to the regular black and white portions of the UI and the actual text, it is washed out when it comes to color, the actual color part. This isn't looking as crisp as something you would see on a regular LCD LED smartphone, of course. But even things taken with our own camera and side-loaded on here, you will see that the colors are fairly lush for what this is. And remember, these devices are not expensive. They're not $800, $600 devices like the Pocketbook Color Lux, the Actaco JetBook. These things are around the $200 mark USD. So to get color on your e-reader for only $200 is pretty phenomenal if you ask me. Right now, as of May 8th, 2020, they have this thing not available for the international market. So if you do a long press and you click on this, it actually does direct you to a Baidu engine-driven browser in the sense where it's catered content just for this device. You can't go outside of this. They've locked out all permissions for anything. And we don't want to show any video on this because we can't tell whether it is or is not copywritten and we might get in trouble. And no, you can't actually sideload video on this device yet because it won't play. You can put the video on here, but there's nothing that will read the format. So pretty much everything happens around this Baidu engine here, and you can type things in. So for example, if I type in my name, things will appear. So I don't know who that is, but it's Peter Lee. And when you click on it, it does take you to different entries, and you can click on hyperlinks and go to different sites, but everything will be situated around this browser, and you can't actually type in any URLs or direct yourself to any sort of email or anything like that. The glow light is quite good as well, although you don't have different glow lights on here, you only have the white ones. And these ones are like bedtime and low light and kind of selected levels, although you do have this slider bar to either turn it off or on respectively. Now you do have audio controls up here too. That is not just the warm lighting. This thing doesn't actually have warm lighting, so you are stuck with the blue-white LEDs, but honestly the blue-white LEDs does do the color best justice. So if we look at our PDF with the light on, it's actually fairly vibrant, and it actually looks a lot better than the daylight with the light off. The light on actually just kind of, exemplifies it and makes it a lot more crisp and clear than it looks like without it. So we would recommend having the light on, if anything, and then that will give you kind of the best experience possible when it comes to this device. Although the device itself is usable outside of China, but none of the services are because it is an iReader product and it's made for the domestic Chinese market. We are looking at the actual screen technology, and this first iteration of color e-ink that is affordable, that is available more importantly, is good, and it works and it looks good, and you understand the colors, nothing's getting lost, and it doesn't have that really washed out gray feel that the Actaco had way back 10 years ago. This thing is very current and it's functional, and it actually functions properly, more importantly, and it's quick and it's not laggy. So there are a lot of pluses to this new technology that they're using. So we're going to be quiet now. We're going to show you a whole bunch of images and movement on the screen with color. But until next time, this is Peter with the iReader C6 review.